Yeah, we have to go back and redo almost all of the studies that have been done on endogenous hallucinogens. The reason for this is that in order for us to even begin to understand how these compounds are synthesized, released, how they act, and how they're metabolized and cleared, can only be done through examination of controlled conditions in animals, looking at physiological changes and then measuring both DMT or 5-methoxy-DMT and its metabolites. This is yet to be done in any study related to these compounds, even given the knowledge that administered DMT is only excreted in a very small percent as the parent compound, which is what everybody normally measured. There's much more to be learned about these compounds in terms of their synthesis and clearance by measuring the metabolites. There's also a need to go back and do studies on the enzymes responsible for its synthesis. There have been tremendous advances in cell and molecular biology techniques to examine the enzymes responsible for the synthesis of these compounds. Some work done by Dr. Mike Thompson demonstrated that there is a enzyme in the periphery, in the lung and in particular, that is an enzyme capable of producing dimethyltryptamine. However, this enzyme is apparently not found in the brain. What does that imply? What this implies, based on other studies that have clearly shown that dimethyltryptamine is formed by an enzyme in the brain, that there is a different protein, a different enzyme in the brain that is responsible for regulating the brain synthesis of this compound. Both of these enzymes can be studied further and need to be studied further. We can look at not only the production of DMT, but the newer cell and molecular biology techniques allow us to look at the gene that is responsible for the production of these proteins. We can look at what conditions up or down regulate those genes, what increases the rate of synthesis, what decreases the rate of synthesis, and the messenger RNA that's actually responsible for the translation of these proteins into the individual enzymes that carry out this process. So there's much more work that needs to be done in these areas, using newer techniques and using more sensitive methods. What I hope to contribute to this field in the near future is to apply much more sensitive mass spectrometry techniques that will allow us to take blood or urine samples and basically do direct injections and measure not only DMT and 5-methoxy-DMT and bufotenin, 5-hydroxy-DMT, but also to measure the individual metabolites of these compounds directly without having to do extensive isolations or extractions. The newer technology in mass spectrometry allows us to take samples in a liquid form, do a very short preparation procedure, and inject them directly, and still see low picogram levels of these compounds in tissues, and unequivocally identify them at the same time.